Hello Pokemon fans, Pokeneer here, and I have some exciting news for us. I have decided to join another draft league and join the Soul Dew Association. Now let's take a quick look at the rules. In this draft league, Pokemon have been assigned a value between 1 and 20 points. We have 110 points to spend to draft 10 Pokemon. After drafting, we can spend 25 Terra points to assign 2 to 3 Pokemon as Terra Captains that are not Terra banned. Each Terra Captain will have 3 types it can terrestrialize into. In the SDA, we are battling at level 100. There is no item clause, so we can use the same item multiple times. However, the items Bright Powder, Lax Incense, King's Rock, and Razor Fang are banned. Baton Pass is legal, but you may not pass any stats or substitutes. All Oko moves are banned. Sleep Clause is in effect, however, except by RNG, so Effect Sport or Dire Claw are still allowed. Moves that raise evasion or evasion raising abilities are banned. And if you terrestrialize into the incorrect Pokemon or terrestrialize the wrong type, it counts as a 6-0 forfeit. Also, Moody is banned. One more thing is that I have checked Metronome is allowed even if it uses the an Oko move, it puts someone to sleep, or it raises evasion. It's still allowed. It will not count as a forfeit. I will try and use Metronome at least once. I love using it. It's just a fun little gamble. And we are a team based in Las Vegas, so it would make sense to gamble just a little bit. Now let's take a look at the team in the order it was drafted. We are starting off with our first pick, Goldango. Now we are going with a Greek mythology naming scheme for our team. And what's a better name than King Midas for Goldango? The king that everything he touches turns to gold. Goldango is Terra banned, so we are not allowed to make it a Terra Captain. But that's alright. It's still a great Mon without it being able to be a Terra Captain. Its ability, good as gold, allows it to be immune to status moves that affect it. Now, moves that set up hazards can still work, but moves such as Taunt, Encore, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, all those things do not work versus Goldango. With that makes it one of the best counters to hazard removal. It's a ghost type, so it prevents rapid spin. It's a steel type, so mortal spin does not work except when it has corrosion. Defog does not work because of its ability. There's 2 moves that I can think of that still work for hazard removal. Court Change, which is kind of a hazard removal. It just swaps the sides. And Tidy Up. Now, Tidy Up, I believe, will still work because it's a move that's not affecting Goldango. It's a move that cleans up the hazards and raises its stats. So it should still be allowed to go through. Now, Goldango has a signature move, Make It Rain, which is like Draco Meteor, but better. It has 120 base power, and it lowers the user's special attack by 1 stage, and it's 100% accurate. Combine Make It Rain with the fact it has a base 133 special attack stat, this Mon is going to hit hard. Now, besides Make It Rain, it has other noticeable good moves. It has Flash Cannon, it has Thunderbolt, it has Shadow Ball, Power Gem, Focus Blast. It just goes on. It has great defense and special defense, or has pretty good defense, special defense with 95 defense, 91 special defense. This Mon I see being used a lot. For my second draft pick, I wanted either a Dragon type Pokemon or a Fairy type Pokemon to get that Fairy Steel Dragon core. I decided to my second draft pick would be Aphrodite the Clefable, who cost 14 points. Now, Clefable has 2 great abilities. It has Magic Guard, which allows me to use Life Orb without taking damage. It prevents taking damage from hazards. Toxic, Burn, It's just a great ability. And Unaware, which just ignores stat boosts from the opponent. Now, along with those abilities, it's a great utility mod. It can set up hazards. It can has access to both Reflect and Light Screen. It can Thunder Wave. Has Encore. It can Wish. It has access to a bunch of weather. It can Trick. And if I need to, I can always use Healing Wish to sacrifice Aphrodite and heal a different Pokemon in return. Along with those moves, it can easily be an offensive mon or a defensive mon. As I mentioned earlier, with Magic Guard, I can use Life Orb without taking damage. And it has the ability to set up with Calm Mind. It also has set up abilities for defensively with Cosmic Powder, which sets up its defense and special defense by 1 stage each turn. It has a wide variety of attacking moves with Thunderbolt, Moonblast. You can even use Meteor Beam to set up its special attack while attacking with that. It's just a great mon overall, and I can see this mon being used a lot. For our third draft pick, we decided to go with a Dragon type to complete the Steel Fairy Dragon core, and we went with Boreas the Baxcalibur, the god of winter and ice. Now, Baxcalibur has a great ability, Thermal Exchange, that when hit by a fire attack move, it raises its attack stat by 1 stage. This Pokemon can also not be burned, which is very important because it has a 145 base attack stat. This Pokemon is going to hit like a truck, especially with its signature move, Glaive Rush, which has a 120 base power Dragon type move, and when it hits successfully, Baxcalibur will take double damage before it uses its next move. But there are some ways around that, prevent it from getting hit. If it goes second, I can then use a priority Ice Shard, or I can use Protect to protect myself from getting that double damage. Now this mon has good setup with Dragon Dance, and this mon is also very useful with Loaded Dice as its item because it pairs well with Scale Shot and Icicle Spear. It also has a massive HP stat with 115. This mon is just going to be one of our greatest damage dealing mons. I look forward to using it. Now that we have our Dragon Steel Fairy core, I decided the next thing the Las Vegas Golden Ho-Hos needed was a hazard remover. And what better hazard remover than Shalone the Blastoise, who cost us 11 points and has the ability Torrent and Rain Dish. Now, Rain Dish can be really nice because when the rain, it heals itself, and if you add a little leftovers, it just does a little more. Now, Blastoise has great defensive stats with 100 defense and 105 special defense. This mon is going to be one of our tankiest mons, but it doesn't not just be a tank. It also gets access to haze to stop any setup. It can set up itself using Shell Smash, and it can swap out with Flip Turn to get some momentum. For our 5th round of the draft pick, I decided we need a mon with speed, and I decided to go with Aries the Infernape. Infernape is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I'm so excited to be able to use it in a draft league. Now, Infernape cost us 13 points, which I think is worth it. It's a firefighting Pokemon. It has Blaze and Iron Fist. Iron Fist is great because it has a lot of punching moves as a fighting type. Drain Punch, Thunder Punch, and so on. Poison Jab. It has 108 base speed, putting it right over that 100 base speed tier that I was looking for. It also is a mixed attacker with 104 attack and 104 special attack. It has a wide variety of moves, being able to use both special and physical. It has priority for both physical and special as well, which is a great thing to look at. It can use Taunt. It can set up it can do a Will-O-Wisp. It has setup moves such as Calm Mind, Bulk Up, Nasty Plot, It has Slack Off for healing. I don't know if I'll ever use that, but it has a way to heal, which is I find really useful. And it has, it can set up rocks with stealth rocks, and it has U-turn for that momentum. Now, Infernape is a Terror Captain, is our first Terror Captain, running Dark Terror type to help with those Psychic type Pokemon, Flying to help with Ground, also can work with Acrobatics, and Electric to help with those Water types and get an extra boost with its Thunder Punch. For our 6th pick of the draft, I decided to go with Eris the Crocodile, who is a Ground Dark type Pokemon. Crocodile has 3 great abilities with Intimidate, Moxie, and Anger Point. I don't know if I'll ever use Anger Point. It's kind of situational in the sense that it needs to be a crit for it to really work. However, I definitely see it being useful in some way. Now it has a great attack stat with 117. It doesn't hit as hard as Baxcalibur, but it does hit harder than Infernape. And it has, with Moxie, it's just attacks that's going to get stronger. So I could either run a Scarf Moxie set. Now it has, it's just under that 100 base speed tier with 92. It's still fast, but not quite as fast as I was hoping. But it does have 2 immunities, which is Electric and Psychic, which is I find very important. It also gets access to Taunt and Stealth Rocks, which are great and useful. It gets Earthquake, Knockoff. It has a bunch of great moves. I look forward to using it. For our 7th draft pick, I wanted a Pokemon that was immune to ground, either with it being a flying type or had Levitate. I decided to go with Athena the Azelf, who cost us 12 points, is a Psychic type, and has the ability Levitate. Now, Azelf has an amazing speed, being our fastest Pokemon on our team with 115 base speed. It's also a mixed attacker like Infernape, but hits a little harder with 125 base attack and 125 base special attack. It also has a signature move called Mystic Power, which is a 70 base Psychic type move, but also has a 100% chance to raise its special attack by 1 stage. Now, Azelf also has a lot of other moves that are really important. Some notable ones are it can access screens, both Light Screen and Reflect, has Stealth Rock, can Taunt, Encore, has access to Trick, it has U-turn for mobility, it has access to set up a lot of weathers, it gets Dazzling Gleam, Calm Mind. There's a lot of different things that it can do. For our 8th draft pick, I decided to go with Gaia the Blossom. Now, Blossom is one of my favorite lower tier Pokemon. It has the abilities Chlorophyll and Healer. Healer I don't see being used. It's more of a doubles ability, but Chlorophyll will definitely be useful, especially paired with Infernape. Now, even though it has low speed, it doesn't have the greatest HP stat. It does have 95 defense and 100 special defense. You combine that with the fact that it has access to Quiver Dance and Strength Sap. This is a Pokemon that's not going to go down very easy. And with it having Quiver Dance, that 90 special attack is going to be useful. It has moves such as Moonblast. It has Giga Drain. It can also put mons to sleep with Sleep Powder. It has Toxic. It has access to a few healing moves other than Strength Sap. It has a lot of setup moves, Quiver Dance, Swords Dance, and such. It's just going to be a mon that I see being used a lot. It's going to be tankier than a lot of people are going to expect, and it's just going to be a mon that's just going to do a lot more work than I think people are going to think. For our 9th pick of the season, we decided to go with Zeus the Bellybolt. Now, Zeus is our electric type Pokemon, and like Blossom, this is a Pokemon that's just going to stay there and take hits. with its ability Electromorphosis, when it takes a hit, it gets a charge and doubles the power of electric type moves, allowing it to hit harder even when it's bulky. When it's full bulk, it can still hit harder than a max EV Raikou with electric moves, which I find crazy. And now it has great HP with 109 base stat, has 91 defense and 83 special defense. It has Parabolic Charge for healing, also has a Slack Off also for healing. But this is a mon that also makes Charge Beam viable with its ability. I don't know if I'll use Charge Beam, but I see that as being viable because it gets a 70% chance to raise its special attack, and with it being a tanky mon as it is, it could easily take a hit, get a stat boost, heal up, and just keep on going in the cycle of doing that, attacking, healing, and so on. It also gets access to Toxic, which I find really cool as an electric type, for it to get Toxic. Another move that it gets that I think is going to be really good on it is Soak. Now, Soak makes a target Pokemon a water type, making its moves stronger versus it. It also gets access to screens with Reflect and Light Screen. It can set up rain for itself and has access to the Volt Switch. Now, Bellibolt is our second Terra Captain, running Terra Ice for that Volt Beam combo, Terra Electric for extra stab on its electric moves, and Terra Ground. Now, Terra Ground might seem a little weird. I've found it to be a great typing for it. It helps with other electric type Pokemon that it would struggle against. I see this mon being used quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to using it. It's one of my favorite new Gen 9 Pokemon. For our 10th and final pick, I wanted another hazard remover Pokemon. I decided to go with Hippogriff the Braviary, who cost us 6 points, leaving us with 3 points left in our draft that I might use later on. Braviary is a normal flying type, has Keen Eye, Sheer Force, and Defiant. I will probably use Sheer Force and Defiant more often than Keen Eye, but I could see it being useful in some sense. But Sheer Force is a great move. It allows me to use, has moves like Body Slam, Iron Head, and Rock Slide that pair well with it. And Defiant is helpful versus those Intimidators or Mons that like to lower stats. Now, Hippogriff has a 123 base attack, which hits hard. It's hard with Stab, Brave Bird. It has Close Combat as another attacking move. Like I said, Body Slam and Iron Head for the Sheer Force combo. It has Defog, which is that hazard removal part. It gets access to set up moves. It gets Hone Claws to increase its accuracy, so Rock Slide's a little bit more viable. It gets Roost. It gets Tailwind. It gets U-Turn for that mobility. It's just a great mon overall. I wish it was a little faster, but 80 is still fine. It's our last Terra Captain, and it's Terra Normal to increase its stab normal type moves with Body Slam. Steel type, which I think will be useful. It gets Iron Head, so that's Stab, Iron Head versus Fairy-Mons or Ice could be really useful. And it removes that Ice weakness with it being Steel. Ghost type is a little interesting on it, in my opinion. I find that really useful because it can help reverse Ghost types or Psychic types. It has Shadow Claw, so a Stab Ghost type move with Shadow Claw I see being really useful. Those are the 10 Pokemon the Las Vegas Golden Ho-Hos have drafted for the Latios division. They are a great pair, or great team. They mesh well together. They have some good speed, some good bulk, great utility mons, 2 hazard removers. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted. I think we can make it the playoffs with this team. Now, this team does have a lower base speed average than what I wanted, with it being a base 80 average. However, it does have some fast mons with Azelf and Infernape. Crocodile also is pretty good with a speed tier with 92. It's not the fastest mon, but it does outspeed out quite a bit. Interesting enough, defense and special defense have the exact same average with 84, which isn't bad. Wish it was a little higher. However, it does have good paired well with good bulk with an average of 91. And then special attack is its second highest greatest average, with it being a 93 base average. And that's because of mons such as Goldango, Azelf, and Infernape. And for our strongest stat, we have our attack stat, which is an average of 97. And a big part of that is because of Excalibur, but we also have 5 mons over 100 average base stat. Mainly, it's more of our Belliable and Goldango that bring our average down, than Excalibur bring our average up. Interesting enough. Now let's take a quick look at the type chart. Overall, we did a pretty good job of making sure we didn't have any glaring weaknesses. Fairy is our only typing that has more weaknesses than it does have immunities or resistances. However, that's only by 1. We have 2 Pokemon weak to Fairy, and we only have 1 Mon that resists it, which is fine. I'm not too worried about that. I do have Terra Steel on Braviary to help with that. And we have a lot of defensive mons that can take a Moonblast. But overall, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Pokemon immunities. 2 of them are on ground, but so that gives us 8 typings that we are immune to, which is really good. We resist water, electric, grass, fighting, psychic, bug, dragon, dark, and steel more than we reflect damage from it, which I find really good. Those are typings that we want to resist more than we want to take damage from anyways. Now fire is a little unfortunate. We don't resist that more. It's equal. Ice type I'm not too surprised by. Poison type I wish we had a little bit more for, but Goldango is going to be really important with that, and Crocodile with it being resisting it and being able to do super effective damage to it is really important. Overall, I like our team. I think our season will be really well. We'll make playoffs, no problem.